Hey guys, well I thought I'd do a little bit of a bolt on to that video. I was going to do a whole new video. In fact, this might come out as a whole new video. It all depends how long it's going to take, because I know that, you know, we've all got different things to do. Anyway, I was watching Kathy's video. This is Obsidian Alice, previously Jack's fan. And I mean, amazing video. I connected so many dots, and I've been looking at bricks and red bricks and houses for a while now, and I sort of in and out of the research, you know. But when I saw this, she triggered me to start looking again, because she talks about this chapel here. And when it was built in 1776, they found thousands and thousands of skulls and bones, and they ended up interring them in this chapel. And it didn't house the deceased from a church cemetery.
1,000 people interred in the basement. So as you can see, the chapel was built in 1776, but it was to house people who died long before that. So the church itself has nothing, and the ossuary itself, it wasn't collecting bones from local churches like they're full up, and you know, we're going to have to sort of turn the ground now. So that's not what it was doing. So this is a chandelier made of bones in the Sedlec ossuary in the Czech Republic. I don't feel...
Right, okay. So, I sort of thought to myself, what if, and I have thought this before, what if these red bricks are basically just us? What if they are just us, man? You know? And in my video here, I look at the ingredients of bricks. So we have silica, alumina, iron oxide, magnesia, lime, organic matter. And that's your sort of basic mix-up, and different materials are used to provide these, right? So I'm hoping that all of this research that I've got here is all going to be in order. We'll give it a go. Okay, so this definition of clay here is a fine-grained, firm, earthy material that is plastic when wet and hardens when heated, consisting primarily of hydrated silicates of aluminium and widely used in making bricks, tiles and pottery. A hardening or non-hardening material having a consistency similar to clay and used for modelling. A sedimentary material with grains smaller than 0.002mm, moist sticky earth, mud, the human body as opposed to the spirit. Yeah? There's another one here. So there are references to man being from clay. I can't find the other definition that I had now. But yeah, man as clay. So here is the chemical constitution of people. There's lots and lots here. Some are more comprehensive than others. This one is quite a good one. So we have all of these. Oh god, sorry, god, it's double the size. Does this? We have all of these elements inside us, yeah? And over here, this is this alumini thing. That's in. We have that. Not a lot, but we have it. We have everything. We have all these, and these are the ones we don't have. Here's another one. This one shows it a bit better. Here it is. Aluminium. So we do have aluminium in there. Boron, carbon, nitrogen. So all of these elements are in our bodies. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Silicon, so this is our silica. And the silica in our bodies is the same sort of silica that is found in the clay. What's this next one? So here's the 7 stages of alchemy. Now, if you consider that a human being is a completed form, and maybe this was an age when nothing went to waste, nothing went to waste. What a waste of a human being just to shove it in the ground and leave it. And the alchemical process takes you from one of lead, and eventually you go through this process which includes putrefaction and then a distillation, into coagulation, yeah, there's a great line here and I bet I can't find it. It says something about you go from the body to the spirit to form. So they actually release, they're thinking they're releasing the spirit. And they talk about the reddening which expands spirit to matter, reflecting the competition through the colour royal purple red. I just find it all connected here. I just and also the sun in alchemy is sulphur. Anyway, that aside, I'm going to leave all the links to these. Alchemical human process. Now, I don't know how they did it. Obviously, this was done a while ago. I think we were more than just some commodity. But I had a comment under my video, and there's one under Kathy's as well, I believe, so I'll have a look. There's one under mine from Liz in Dublin. I remember years ago driving through a town in County Kildare, and someone said about one building that they used oxen blood in the mix to make it strong. Yeah. And let's check Kathy's. It might be on this one, or it might be on her Paul Cook one, because Paul mirrored it. It might not be here. Anyway, a similar thing. So, why did the ancient Romans add blood to their concrete mixes? What benefit does blood do to the properties of the resulting concrete? Although few good books mention that Romans mixed blood and fat in concrete, and the theory is dubious, yet assuming they did mix, I'm putting forth the reasons why they may have done this. Have you ever got a deep cut so the blood gushes out? What do you do in such a situation? Just hold that place of pressure and blood will make a clot. So this guy thought they put blood immediately down so that everything stuck. Somebody else talks about how the fat in the body contributes to the actual waterproof situation of it, this sort of soapy thing that goes on. I don't know if they had some you see, if they used our blood, right, here's our bricks, and here we've got a bit of a history, how they've been used since the dawn of civilization. Great Wall of China. A lot of this is just, you know, the medieval cities all of wood, and because of the disastrous fire potential of wood, the bricks replaced the wood over the years. For instance, the Great Fire of London in 1666 changed London from being a city of wood to one of brick. Well, as we know, our history is all over the place, so I don't know about that. It's an age-old material, brickwork versus stonework, and bricks are very hot right now. I watched a video with Autodidactics Campbell and Colm Gibney the other day, and they were talking there. They were sort of like theorising on how old these things are, and Colm didn't incriminate himself in any way. But he alluded to the age of these star, not forts, maybe star cities, citadels, city-states, I don't know. And I don't know. To me, I'm thinking thousands of years, not hundreds of years, genuinely. And also, I know UAP has been looking at bricks, and also Black Sheep Researcher, as I mentioned in my previous vid to this one and the other one, is talks about these star places, star forts, having these ossuaries. This is I looked into putrefaction and everything looking at this, because when a body dies, it goes through a process. This guy here, this was written in the 1840s, and he says nobody wants to study it because it's disgusting. So he talks about it. So it has to, for a body to putrefy in a certain way, certain situations have to be in place. So it has to be dead. Water must be present in sufficient quantities to permit the free motion of it putrefying. Temperature has to be constant, neither too high nor too low. Oxygen has to be present, and there should be no powerful chemical agent. Now, if, as I sort of suspect, they drained our bodies of blood, it would have had to have been done while we were still living, otherwise it doesn't flow. As soon as your heart stops, your blood stops flowing, which is why when you die, blood pools. And if you watch Mud Fossil University, and he talks about his mud fossils, how they are often flattened on the bottom where the blood has pooled, yeah? So in a putrefying body that has had its blood removed, you're not going to have the same process. So I think maybe they removed the blood, dried it. So blood meal. Blood meal is a dry, inert powder made from blood, used as some blood in case you don't know what blood is, used as a high nitrogen organic fertiliser, and it's a slaughterhouse byproduct. And here it is. Iron oxides are chemical compounds composed of iron and oxygen. There are 16 known iron oxides and oxyhydroxides, the best known of which is rust, a form of iron oxide, yeah. And the colour of iron oxide can go from this sort of very dark brown to a very sort of like vivid red. In fact, let's have a look. Iron oxide images. Yeah, see? So you can buy it. You can buy blood meal. People use it on their gardens. This is a little bit, I'm going to come to that in a bit. Right, clinkers. I mentioned clinkers in my other video. Clinkers, when you have a brick that doesn't come out properly, it comes out as a clinker brick, and they're all misshapen, and people use them to make these sort of interesting, sort of scatty, eccentric walls and houses with odd bricks. Clinker built, they say something's clinker built, and clinkers are a sort of a waste product of making bricks and concrete. And this is cement clinker. Cement clinker is a solid material produced in the manufacture of Portland cement. Now, it's difficult to make the transition between thinking about this modern stuff here and how they're doing it now and how they were doing it back then, because they were doing the same thing. Now, if they were using us, they needed cement as well as bricks. So maybe there was a double process. I can quite easily see that a body with its blood removed and allowed to putrefy would eventually sort of like descend into some earthy clay material. and I think they probably had a way of hastening the process, and at some point maybe they just removed bones. And there are quite a few accounts of these disarticulated skeletons being found that are missing skulls and long bones. So maybe they did that, and maybe the rest of the bones were used in the actual process and ended up as clinker because they weren't needed, or they removed extraneous bones, is that the right word? Bones that weren't needed, and smashed them up and shoved them in pits, because cement clinker. Right, let's have a look at some pictures. If you just put clinkers in, you get these Cadbury's chocolates. Cadbury's have got a chocolate called the clinkers. Cement clinker. If you look at cement clinker, this is cement clinker, and it's always between 2 and 3.5 to 4 millimetres round. And then you look at white gravel. There's not an awful lot of difference between them, is there? But gravel, of course, has been dug from the ground and has been there for a while, and not all gravels either, because there are different types of gravel. I think if it is one, it's going to be this one, fine gravel. Gravel consisting of particles with a diameter of 2 to 8 millimetres. And gravel, if you take the L off, is grave. So maybe it's not gravel pits, maybe it's grave pits. Similarly, there's clay pits everywhere, where people dig them out and then they have been turned into ponds. So I don't know. So I found this as well. Charnel houses, charnel grounds. There's not many of these in the world, and they're not very nice. It's where people go to leave their dead. They just leave them out. They just leave them out to die. And there's not much information about them. And they're supposed to be ghastly places full of vultures, hyenas, jackals, rotting bodies, and extreme meditation is to go into one of these places and actually meditate within the charnel ground amongst these sort of rotting bodies. So this is Wikis. A charnel ground is an above ground site for the putrefaction of bodies, generally human, where former living tissue is left to decompose uncovered. Although it may have demarcated locations within it functionally identified as burial grounds, cemeteries and crematoria, it is distinct from these as well as from crypts or burial vaults. Sorry guys, obviously huge apologies for that. So yeah, charnel houses, charnel grounds, are places where bodies are just left out to rot. Quite often because people can't afford to bury their dead, they take them to this charnel ground. In the Himalaya, where tillable topsoil for burial and fuel for cremation is scarce and a valuable commodity, the location of a so-called sky burial is identified with a charnel ground. So a sky burial is a funeral practice where a human corpse is placed on a mountain to decompose while exposed to the elements or to be eaten by scavenging animals, especially carrion birds. That's what I've said I'll always do. If I found out I was going to die, I'd clear off to the Highlands of Scotland and just lay myself out. Let the golden eagles get me. So this is a video that Roger from Mud Fossils University put up in 2019. I remember seeing it at the time. Ground up bodies used in construction. And this is ancient China. And here is a giant with a mashing wheel. And there's bodies here. And he has quite a few of these videos where he talks about bodies being used in construction, looking at granite and marble and pointing out the different constituents, components, the minerals. And not to forget another brick in the wall where they're shoving the bodies into here, the red brick school. And, makes me wonder, does the human body, when taken down to its components, with the bones removed and the blood removed, weigh the same as a brick? Are we all just bricks in walls, where we all just commodities? It's just beyond me. And I watched a little bit of Martin last night, and he put this picture up, and it's horrible. It's just awful. It's dark. It's an album cover from a band called Void of Sleep, and this is the architect with the trowel, with blood on his hand, with blood on the trowel, and here's all the souls beneath his feet. This apron, I don't know what the apron signifies. Maybe it signifies they don't get blood on them or something, but yeah. So, I don't know, guys. Are the buildings us? Are the bricks us? Were we part of the deal? Did we have to be ritually bled out? Because if you think about a body putrefying once the constituent parts are taken out, the blood and the bone, what you got left is a slippery mess, which under certain processes alchemically could become the material needed for bricks. Or they could burn the bones out, remove the bones, burn them so far, take out the bones they need, burn them further down, break the bones up, chuck them in a pit, or just leave them in the mess, leave them in the mire, in the mud, in the clay. Anyway, let me know what you think. It's just like the logical progression from lime being used in concrete to our blood being used. I think they probably added it. They added it afterwards. Oh, and the other thing is the hearth in the house. Now, a hearth in a house is the central area in the house. The hearth. The fireplace, basically, where everybody gathers around. But it's a little bit more than that. Where's the wiki thing? Right. Alright, take the H off hearth and you get heart. It's a brick or stone-lined fireplace with or without an oven used for heating and originally used for cooking food, and also used for cooking food. For centuries, the hearth was such an integral part of a home, usually its central and most important feature, the concept has been generalised to refer to a home place or household, as in the terms hearth and home, and keep the home fires burning. And there's different hearths, medieval hearth, and hearth tax. Why would they be taxing it? They taxed you if you had a hearth. So did they use the heart in the hearth stone that they put in front of the fire? I just don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think, guys. I know it's all a bit crazy, but it's crazy now. Thanks for watching.